Now, the Southgate's claim to be healthy is definitely justified. I had a look at some Middlesex County Council medical officers' figures for 1900. And some interesting statistics. Southgate had one of the lowest birth rates in North London, 21.3 per thousand population. That is, a low birth rate is usually a good sign of a middle class area. It's like the lowest birth rate in North London was Hornsey, 19.1. And surprise, surprise, the highest in Middlesex was Edmonton, right next door, 34 per thousand. That's a sort of third world type birth rate. In Edmonton's defence, I would point out at that time it had a very young and very fertile population. And also there wasn't much else to do after the pubs shut, so that probably distorted the figures to a degree. Another very telling figure is infant mortality, deaths under the age of 1 year. That's one area medicine has made massive strides. The average death rate for Middlesex, infant death rate in 1900 was 146 deaths per thousand live births. That's more than 10 times what you'd expect today in outer London. Enfield, slightly better than average at 145. Wood Green, also 145. Southgate was 118, one among the lower figures, the lowest. And surprise, surprise, Edmonton next door, 187 deaths per thousand live births. So that's a frightening thought that every child born in 900 in Edmonton, 187 would not get to their first birthday. But many contributory factors: poor housing, poor diet. There are also a lot of poor quality proprietary baby foods around. I think a lot of mothers used to use condensed milk as baby food, which was, it had a lot of fat and sugar in it, but not much else. So, a lot of contributory factors. But Southgate had quite a lot going for it in the early 20th century. It was perhaps not quite as healthy as Hornsey, but pretty close. Now, judging by the population growth, there's obviously a fair amount of house building going on. And what I did was I went through all the planning applications for housing that were submitted to Southgate Council during 1905. It was one of the boom years. During that year, there were plans for putting for 645 houses in the district. And these were not evenly distributed around the area. They were concentrated in certain large estates where all the building was taking place. Now, notice that 181 of these were in New Southgate, such roads as Natal Road, Tewkesbury Terrace, Maidstone Road, Brownlow Road, and also in Stanley Road. This is the area that started building up rather early. This was approaching saturation point. Next came the Old Park Estate in Palms Green. This is what the estate agents now call the Lakes Estate. That's the plushest part of Palms Green. This is the area between Fox Lane and Alderman's Hill. The land here, which had once been owned by the Taylor family of Grovelands, was sold for building in 1902. Plans were in for 159 houses in such roads as Alderman's Hill, Conway Road, Durban Road, Selborne Road, Grovelands Road, Old Park Road and Lakeside Road. Now, this was perhaps the most upmarket part of all. In 1907, a builder called W.J. Edwards was offering housing in Ullswater Road, a price between £375 for the basic house, or up to £1,400 for a corner house. That was actually a very, very expensive house for that time. You could have bought a terraced house in Edmonton probably for, in some cases, less than £100 at that time. Well, one or two houses in Edmonton had trouble giving away, I suspect, at that time as well. Builders were also very active in Winchmore Hill, particularly the area bounded by Green Lanes and Hoppers Road. Plans were submitted for 107 houses in Station Road, Fernley Road, Woodbury Avenue, Arlo Road and Orpington Road. So there's a lot of building going on here. Well, the building firms that were active in Southgate in 1905, not one survives today. That in itself is significant because speculative building is a fairly precarious way of earning a living. You look at the bankruptcy page of the London Gazette, I think it's speculative builders and caterers feature very prominently. So it's one pretty, if you want to end up in a bankruptcy court, speculative building is a very good way of doing it. Some of the firms, like Edmondson's and Ingram's, lasted well into the interwar period, but many of them were small men with rather precarious finances. And perhaps typical of the ones at the dodgy end was Mr. A.C. Highlands, who over a 20-year period built some 400 houses in Haringey, Bowes Park and Palmer's Green, and also the Bowes Park area. In 1912, at the age of 48, Mr. Highlands was declared bankrupt. At the bankruptcy court hearing, he inadvertently gave away some of the secrets of the way he'd been running his business. He had no bank account, of course. He had his money in a tin box at home. The assets of £560, debts of 593. 33 quid. I've got more than that in my wallet tonight. But in 1912, that was the difference between life and death as far as Mr. Hiram's career as a builder was concerned. Incidentally, he operated from a yard in Stonnard Road, close to where the Intimate Theatre was later built. The yard, in fact, was taken on by it was another firm, Wrights had it for years, and it disappeared about 20 years ago when the inevitable block of flats was built on the site. So Mr. Hiram's yard outlasted him by, well, the best part of 80 years.